President Biden is kicking off a crucial legislative week with a trip to the Garden State. The president made 2 stops in New Jersey, visiting an elementary school and a transit center. The visits are meant to highlight his infrastructure and social spending plans. The bills have been held up in Congress for weeks, while moderate and progressive Democrats try to get 2 more senators on board. One of them is Senator Joe Manchin. He met yesterday with President Biden and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. Today, Senator Manchin teased that the deal could be finalized this week.
Senator, what are the chances of a deal this week?
Well, having it finished with all the T's and I's and everything, crossed and dotted, that'll be difficult from the Senate side because we have an awful lot of text to go through. But as far as conceptually, we should. I really believe it'll, and just have a lot of good faith.
President Biden is lobbying to get these deals done before he travels to Europe for the UN Climate Summit. He spoke about them this afternoon during his New Jersey trip.
These bills are not about left versus right or moderate versus progressive or anything that pits one American against another. These bills are about competitiveness versus complacency. Competitiveness versus complacency. They're about expanding opportunity, not opportunity denied. They're about leading the world or continuing to let the world pass us by.
So let's bring in CBS News political reporter Adam Brewster. Adam, great to see you. You were listening to President Biden's remarks. Anything new there?
It was a lot of his standard push for why he believes that the U.S. needs not only this infrastructure bill to fix some of the aging infrastructure, like the Portal Bridge in New Jersey, what he was specifically here to talk about today, one of the busiest passageways in the United States, the president said, but also that social spending aspect that he has been negotiating for months with Capitol Hill over the size and scope and what will be in the plan. So sort of another push and a chance to come deliver that message in New Jersey to remind Democratic voters about some of the priorities that he has pushed for on the campaign trail when he was running for president and as president in the White House, saying, this is sort of what, Democrats have been campaigning for. This is what we want to deliver you. This is, he mentioned some of the achievements that Governor Murphy's had in his first term in office, saying he has been leading the way on issues like replacing lead pipes and trying to expand access to preschool for more students. So a lot of those messages about why he needs to have both of those bills, and there's a big sense of urgency to get both of those done before he goes to Europe later this week.
Which was going to be my next question, because, of course, he is about to leave for Europe to attend the climate summit. He will be surrounded by world leaders. What could that time abroad look like if President Biden gets his finalized bills? And what will it look like if negotiations are continuing? Will he sort of have one foot in Europe and one foot back in Washington?
Well, certainly if the negotiations are still ongoing when he's there, right, he will have to sort of at least mentally split his time between focusing on ongoing talks and meetings and what's happening back in Washington, D.C. But he spoke a lot about climate change in those remarks, as he often does when he talks about his infrastructure agenda. And that's part of the reason why he's going abroad. There's a big climate change meeting in Scotland. And the ability for the president to sort of lead on that issue, for America to lead on that issue, may hinge on what is in that social spending bill with regards to climate change. There's been some pushback from moderate Democrats, particularly Senator Joe Manchin, about some of the programs to address the root causes of climate change. Now, President Biden has talked about making infrastructure more resilient to climate change, acknowledging that, this is something that people have to prepare for, not just mitigate the effects of. But what that deal looks like, what sort of climate provisions are in there, if that is hammered out by the time he gets to the climate summit, will give a big signal for how the U.S. stands on this issue. The president's climate envoy, John Kerry, has said if the U.S. is not, out there and doing big things, it does make it a bit harder for America to lead on that issue.
All right, Adam, turning back now to the governor's race in New Jersey, where you are now, of course. Governor Murphy joined President Biden at various events today, as we mentioned earlier. But the Biden administration made it clear the trip was not a campaign event. What influence do you think, though, the president could have in the governor's race?
Well, certainly it draws media attention to Governor Murphy's race and produces questions and coverage just like this. It may not be an official vote for Phil Murphy if you want 4 more years of, his policies. But he stands there with Phil Murphy and says, things like, you've been doing a great job on lead pipes. You've been doing a great job on expanding access to preschool to more New Jersey children. That in and of itself is telling to voters, hey, this is what this guy's been doing. And, oh, by the way, there's an election in 8 days. The president himself didn't necessarily say that. We heard one of the congressmen say that before. But it all happens within the context of what is going to happen next Tuesday and is already happening. New Jerseyans are already, early voting is already underway. Mail voting has been underway for a little while here in New Jersey. So people have been and actively are voting in New Jersey. Next Tuesday will just be the final chance for them to do so. But certainly it draws attention to that race and reminds New Jerseyans, hey, I know it's an off year, but this is still a governor's race year here.
Sure. And, President Biden's approval ratings are dropping to a new low of about 43% in an average of October polls. Do you think a Democratic win in the New Jersey governor's race could help President Biden moving forward?
Well, this is a pretty Democratic state. Registered Democrats outnumber registered Republicans by about 1 million voters. So a win here may not necessarily do as much as preventing a loss, right? A loss here would send sort of shockwaves around the country. This was a race that Phil Murphy appeared to have, a very comfortable lead throughout the summer. Polls have shown the race tightening. Republicans in this state, believe they have a lot of momentum on their side with fundraising and things of that nature. It's an off-year election. Strange things can happen, but this is certainly a state that is traditionally Democratic, especially in federal elections, U.S. Senate elections, presidential elections. But this is, again, an off year. People just voted in the presidential last year. Now you've got to get them fired back up again to vote in a governor's race. New Jersey hasn't elected a Democratic governor, or re-elected a Democratic governor for a second term since the late 1970s. And this is a state that had a Republican in charge for 8 years, just a few years ago when Chris Christie was the governor here. So it is certainly a place that Republicans can win in these off-year gubernatorial elections that New Jersey has. A win may not say a lot, but certainly a loss would really raise some red flags for Democrats around the country if Republicans win in New Jersey.
All right, Adam Brewster in New Jersey, thank you for joining us.